oxygen, that it can make better decisions, that it's wiser. If I push through and I'm just like, hey guys, we're good, like, you're going to hear that in the pace of my voice. I'm going to be more frazzled. So I'm going to walk you guys through an exercise where I'm going to calm my nervous system, and I'm going to ask all of you guys to do the same thing with me so that you can feel in your body. Because even though you guys are feeling calm right now, more calm than I am, you're still going to feel a difference in effect in your body. Now, I've talked to some people. I was working with a lady, and she's like, I've tried the breathing thing, it doesn't work. And I'm like, okay, let's talk about that. And she's like, yeah, what was going on in your mind? She was like, well, I was super hurried. I had to get back to work, and I knew it was good for me to breathe, so I just did the breathing thing and then got back to work. And I was like, she's like, and it didn't work for me. And I'm like, okay. So the reason it didn't work is it actually takes your nervous system and your vagus nerve, which is the longest nerve in your body. It's attached at the root of your brainstem all the way back, all the way down to your sacrum. And what it's doing all the time is, but it takes it 3 times for it to reset. So what that vagus nerve is doing at all times is picking up your environment and picking up whether you feel safe or not. So this is the survival system, okay? This is where that lives, because then it's sending information. It's totally fine if it doesn't work.
No, I can't.
It's sending information to the rest of your body. If you think about like your, they talk about rest and digest, right? Like, so the rest of your body is feeling what you're picking up, the level of safety you feel. And even though I'm not in threat, there's no bear that's coming to eat me, right? Like, there's still things I'm feeling in my body that are elevated because we have different levels of what that fight, flight, trauma responses feel like in our body. Does that make sense? So the vagus nerve is like picking up on like all these levels. So you're kind of at like different levels of survival mode responses throughout the day and throughout your life. So, and again, a lot of times we think of like the big bear that's coming or the car that exploded, but really it is, it's what, that level of threat that you're feeling at that moment. Yeah. So, is it not working?
Yeah,
It's totally fine.
it takes a while to get it to do what it needs to do. It shouldn't be.
Oh, is this, so it's like a cash flow?
Okay. Why is it not? That's HAO2, right? Let me see if that's in the right there.
We'll give it like another minute, and if it's not connecting, we'll just, it's small enough that I'm hoping you guys can see.
Oh,
There. Go
It's
to
just not recognizing it.
connected devices. Well,
Yeah,
let's
it's
see.
not recognizing it.
So the other thing that I like to,
I'm sorry, Kim.
There it is.
it's not working?
Yeah, that's the device, but it's not recognizing it.
So the other thing that I like to liken this to is, now I'm not that good with computers, as you can tell,
It's just
but a
not
lot of people
recognizing
understand
it.
the operating system of a computer and how it works.
This is the other morning.
And they understand what to do when something
She can
glitches,
doodle from
right?
her laptop.
Leave that one.
I don't as much, but for the nervous system, it's similar, right? This is literally how you're wired. This is your operating system that you're living from every day. And no one is taught this in kindergarten. No one is still taught this throughout high school or in work. But this is literally how you work. Okay, so thank you so much for trying to help. I apologize if your nervous systems are feeling that. I'm going to go ahead and start this on here. Hopefully you guys can see it. I did promise like a nervous system reset, and so we're gonna do that now. Present. Okay, so we're talking about finding calm in the chaos. So I'm gonna teach you guys the box breath. Has anyone ever heard of the box breath? So it's basically, you're going to breathe in for 4, you're gonna hold for 4, you're gonna breathe out for 4, you're gonna hold for 4. So it's kind of like they visualize it in a box. So it's in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4. We're gonna do it 3 times because it takes the vagus nerve 3 times to reset. And I just want you to feel your body. Like, what do you feel like in your body right now? Just notice that, just note that. And then we're gonna do these 3, and we're gonna see how you feel in your body after that, okay? Especially you, Deb, I'm sorry. So we're gonna inhale, and I'm just gonna count like this, okay? So inhale for 4. Hold for 4. Exhale for 4. Hold for 4. Inhale for 4. Hold for 4. Exhale for 4. Hold for 4. Inhale for 4. Hold for 4. Exhale for 4. Hold for 4. And we're going to do another one for me. Inhale for 4. Hold for 4. Exhale for 4. Hold for 4. Okay. What do you guys feel in your body? You can roll your shoulders back. Anyone feel like, I don't want to come out of that? Do you feel the difference in your body? Do you feel the calm? So that is resetting that vagus nerve, and that's amidst the chaos of life. Like, you have that available to you at any moment. A lot of times we don't think about it in the times because we're getting elevated, right? And we feel like we have to push through. So part of what we're learning, I teach people to do a body scan that just be aware of your body. Like 3 times a day we'll do it for the individuals that I work with. So 3 times a day in the morning, we're going to attach it to brushing your teeth, and you're going to just notice in your body, what do I feel? Like, do my muscles feel tense? Like, am I all tight, right? Notice, and then just do those 3 to 4 breaths and notice the difference in that. Okay, so my story, can you guys see this? Mm-hmm. So I started fainting at work, and I didn't realize until I took this course, about 4 years later, I took a trauma-informed somatic and resiliency certification, and it taught me that, oh yeah, so when I started fainting at work, there's different survival modes in our body, and it's fight, flight, freeze, fawn, and flop. So the flopping part where I would faint, that was a survival mode. So my body was like screaming, trying to get my attention, and do you know what I said during that time? Damn it, body. Work harder. What is wrong with you? It didn't go well for me, and I ended up burning out. And I took about 4 or 5 years to recover from that. Burnout is not fun. Your body shuts down. And I'm now teaching people the tools so that they don't have to burn out, so that they can realize in their body where they're at and give them the skills for what can get them out of those modes. Because while I was in that, this is even for like caretakers and things, so while I was in that season, I was in a very high stressful sales job. So body felt tense like all the time. I didn't notice that because like I just had work to do, but like I would go to bed like amped, right? I would wake up amped, kind of that like, that's that fight feeling that like all my muscles are tense and poised and ready to go. That's not good for a nervous system to be in that for days and weeks and months at a time. So in a world where we're not even taught to check in with our body, or we get a scrape or like our arms half severed, it's like, you're fine, move on, right? Like it's, tough it out. That doesn't work well for your nervous system because your body is trying to talk to you. So the window of tolerance. So this is where you feel most calm. This is where we came back to, right? Like, or you guys are probably already there. That calm feeling. This is where your brain's getting enough oxygen and you're going to make your wisest decisions, right? Instead of like that argument where you're yelling back and forth with whoever that you love and things are coming out that you regret, you're not getting as much oxygen in that response. So this is also where you can think you're clearest, where you're most creative, and it's what these exercises bring you back down into. Now it's not realistic to live there, okay, because life happens and life is real, and it's dynamic, but this is what you want to like come back to. You don't want to be like me where you're like amped and ready to fight like for months at a time. Oh, so I have a friend who was a caretaker for her mom that was dying, and she was in hospice, and it was a lot. And she knew she was burning out, but like she felt like she couldn't stop, right? Like it's hospice. Her mom's literally dying. She does not have the opportunity to take a break. She ended up fainting at the calling hours. She had a mini stroke, and she had to be in the hospital for 3 days. So even learning little ways to check in with your body and notice and take the time for yourself, like, can have a big impact. Because it helps us to endure more, right? Like it builds resiliency. Our system is supposed to come down at least several times a day into calm, and yoga is wonderful for that, by the way. So that is helpful. And if you're not doing that, that's a great way to burn out. So signs you're within your window of tolerance. You feel safe, you feel calm, you can be empathetic, you can be more positive, connected. Can you guys describe any things where you're like, oh gosh, okay, I see, that's my window of tolerance. That's where, this is an example of me and my window of tolerance. Anybody?
I'm creative.
Yes. What do you do to be creative?
I do artwork things. It's kind of hard to explain.
Like painting or?
Well, like repurposing things
Yes.
and making things.
Yes.
Yeah, because I'll get in kind of like flow
The
state.
flow
and
state.
Really,
Yes.
really relax.
Love it. Anybody else? And I want you guys to verbalize this because I want you to start to understand more what this looks like for you. So at the end of the day, I can get up and talk for an hour, but I'd like you guys to be able to embody some of these things for when you go home.
Part of the day is walking the dog.
Yes.
Just when I'm walking, I can talk to the dog.
Love it.
She's gonna love me no matter what I say. So,
Yes.
you know, yeah.
And animals, nature, walking is actually wonderful for your nervous system. All those things. Who else? Oh, the woods? I love that, yeah. Nature is huge for your window of tolerance, for feeling like your fun, collective self. What about you guys? What does it look like for you? Yeah. Yeah. Some people this is hard to even pinpoint because they're like, I don't ever feel that. Sometimes this is kind of a realization that like, wow, I guess I'm not coming into calm ever. When is the last time I felt like that? This is also like where you can laugh, where you can be playful. I had a season of life where I was not playful for like decades. I got very serious.
I paddle, I quilt.
Love it.
The water is my calm space.
Mhm. And you can probably even think of that now, like that feeling that you get even in your body when you're in that space. What do you guys do when you feel that calm? When do you feel that calm? Or I don't feel it is also a totally fine answer.
I go for a walk with my kid, I can get one of my teenagers to go for a walk with me,
I love that.
but anyway, just to walk.
That's great. How about you? Yeah, or you can be like, I'm shy, please don't.
I probably am feeling that way when I'm by myself,
Mm-hmm.
not around all of the people in my house, and the animals in my house. So
Yes.
it doesn't happen very often. So really anything I do by myself, laying down,
Yeah.
resting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Walking is wonderful, but my dog
Yeah.
doing all those things.
Yeah. So you guys also, you all have different personalities as well, right? So like some are extroverted, some are introverted, like there's so many things that go into you and what equals rest for you. I used to journal a lot before I had kids. I would love alone time, and for some reason I didn't understand that when I had children I wouldn't be alone after. And that was one of the hardest things because being alone is something that really makes me happy and calms my nervous system, like settles me down. What about you guys? It's okay too if you're like, hey, stop. What makes you feel calm? Yeah.
Because it doesn't happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you think about these calm places that you are, think about how much energy you get from that. Right? Like what you're able to give back to the people in your life and to this world when you can feed yourself in the ways that you need. It's a different person that shows up than that I never took a break for myself. It's almost like thinking about your car, right? Like sometimes it's like we take better care of our car, like our check engine lights on, we're like, oh, I'm setting up an appointment, right? But like we're worn down, we yell at people, we don't feel well, but we feel like there's more and we need to push through, and we don't really even notice the check engine that's on. Like when I was thinking at work and to me I was like, shut up, we have work to do. Does that register? Okay, so this is your window of tolerance here, and so up here is hyperarousal. So this is like fight flight. These are like the more demonstrative ones, right? And then in the bottom we have hypoarousal, and that's like freeze, flop, fawn. And these are basically separated by the energy they give off. Okay, so I feel like that's the best way to understand it. So fight flight is going to be yelling. It's going to be slamming doors. It's going to be avoiding things, right? Like it can be drinking. It can be shopping. It can be that avoidance energy, right? Like I'm doing something else. The snippiness with your tone, right, for the fight. And you feel it in your body, right? You feel amped, or even a little bit of amped, right? Because there's a range. But then the hypoarousal, this is like, you feel numb. feel kind of depressed, you feel like sluggish energy. And generally, we all have one that we favor. So I, for example, while I was learning like what all of mine was, my mom would sit on the couch and just stare a lot. And I thought that was very normal. And maybe it to some extent, you know, like you're daydreaming or whatever. But for me, I would sit at the kitchen table for like an hour and kind of stare. And my husband would be like, "Where are you?" And I would be like, "This is so annoying. I am right here." Right here. But he was speaking to something else, right? Like I wasn't actually present. My mind was wandering in ways, and I had this like frozen energy. I literally was just kind of stuck there. So it's interesting if you can take kind of a bird's eye view and be like, what are my activities during the day, and what does that look like? I speak with friends or other people, and they're like, oh, I can't stop like cleaning, or like, I'm literally up all day. Like that's like that fight flight, right? So they're probably going to favor one of those, right? So freeze, flop, you know, that was me fainting. So I should mention this. Your nervous system is beautiful, and your survival modes are all amazing because we need them in emergency situations. You know, if there's a bomb coming at you, like you want to run, right? Like this is hardwired into us because this is like super important. However, it doesn't work as well. I'll take mine for example for freeze. It doesn't work as well when you don't realize you're going to them throughout the day because they're just familiar to you in other areas, like me being not present for my family. But there are exercises that you can, once you can start to notice, like, oh, I'm in freeze right now. I'll give you another example because I love freeze, or I favor that. So I'm noticing it more now. So my children, I don't know, it just seemed like it went blank, or I froze because a lot was going on. I felt very overwhelmed. My kids were, all of a sudden I just heard like, Mommy, you're not responding to me. This is very frustrating. And that snapped me back into like, oh, I am so overwhelmed right now that I'm like shut down and frozen. Like I'm literally just staring. And I have a 5-year-old crawling on my back, and I have 2 children excitedly yelling at me at the same time about what they want. So my nervous system is like completely overwhelmed, right? But it was cool that my kid told me that, and it kind of snapped me out of like, oh, I know what's going on, I'm frozen. So I'm like, okay, I love you, but we've talked before about boundaries, and I like to cuddle, but I don't like it when you walk on my body, right? And Mommy's brain is overwhelmed right now. I'm so excited to hear your stories, but I literally can't think because I'm overwhelmed. So I'm gonna need to take a minute, and I'm gonna need to do some breaths so that I can kind of come back. And then we're gonna do one at a time. So a lot of times in those scenarios, our body is telling us that we need some boundaries, that something's been like crossed, or it's fascinating how it shows up in our bodies in so many ways. Does that make sense? Okay, so you have your window of tolerance, things that expand your window of tolerance. So you guys mentioned some of them. So the breathing exercises or the other exercises I'm going to show you, there's tons of them out there. You can look them up. They're somatic exercises. But there's certain ones for hyperarousal to get that like hyper energy down to calm, and then to get that like low depressed energy back to like being energized. For a long time I was doing like really calming ones, but not realizing that freeze was my go-to. So I spent a lot of time on the couch feeling calm. And now I'm like, okay, so I do the energy, okay, I'm not moving. That means I need to move, right? So it's kind of the opposite energy. Self-care practices, that's going to increase your window of tolerance. And then I should mention as well, guys, when trauma comes, it just automatically shrinks your window of tolerance. So think about like when there's a death, when there is something awful that's happened, right? Like you are snappier. Just visually think of that your window of tolerance goes like this, okay? Like you're not like a morally bad person. You're actually, your nervous system is working the way it's supposed to. So you're teary-eyed at things. I had a friend that lost their kid, right? And what they can handle, their life was totally different now for the season because they can't handle things. They can't handle normal conversations about or seeing other people. It's just triggery, right? Like you're extra triggery, which makes sense. You're going through something that's really huge. So things that shrink your window of tolerance: trauma, stress, poor sleep, physical illness, and great losses. So, but I'm going to give you guys some things that help. And honestly, if you're going through trauma, you need self-compassion. More self-compassion during that time, not like, man, I yelled at someone, I suck morally. It's helpful to know what's going on in your actual nervous system to realize, oh, okay, I actually need extra self-care in this season. So the 5 survival modes are fight, flight, freeze, fawn, and flop. Is everyone familiar with those? Should I run through them? Oh, fawn. Fawn is people pleasing. People pleasing?
Oh.
Yeah. So there are a lot of environments that people need to live in. And the way they learn to survive in that environment is to please people. So that makes like the world safe for them, and then they transfer that onto everything. Fight, you guys get fight. Freeze, I mentioned, the kind of that inability to move. I expressed that with my kids where I was just kind of stuck there. Fawn, pleasing someone to avoid conflict. Flop, collapsing like I did, fainting. And then flight, running away. That avoiding energy. So what survival mode do you think you might favor? We've got the flopper. You'll go into all of these, okay? Like, I flopped at one point. I don't do it all the time, but there are there's a mode that you will generally favor. Again, you will go in all of the modes, but you might find one that you're like, oh, this one's coming up a lot. So the flopper, the fighter, the flighter, the freezer, or the fawner. It's interesting, when I was fainting at work, I would get like these dizzy spells beforehand. And then after, it would be like, it took me 30 hours to like 30 minutes to come back to. So there's little things our bodies are telling us. What, I mentioned that I'm the freezer. Who's the fighter? Any fighters? My other class, a couple weeks were like, I'm the fighter.
10% of the time I am,
Yeah.
but the rest I'm a phoner.
Yes.
Go figure.
Yeah.
I feel like the figures wouldn't come to class.
I think it's like that temper. People with like the temper that know, it's 2 women, right? But they're like, yeah, I tend to get a little loud.
You sometimes, yeah, I can see myself being that sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. I have a fighter in me. What about the rest? Is the majority fawner, or do we have any other freezers? Your freezer? Yeah. And it's kind of fascinating because I almost felt like there was something wrong with me before I realized what was going on in my nervous system. And so trauma again, okay? So for the trauma in my life, which also can be varied, it can be the crazy accident, extreme horrible things, or it can be varied. it was so painful what I went through and what other people go through that I froze it. So I just like shut down all of my emotions, and I didn't cry for like 20 years. I just shut it down. And as I've been going through trauma healing, I'm starting to really appreciate the little tickle in my nose again and the little tears that I get. Because when you start to heal from it, there's a thaw, right? And that speaks of it, an in-tuneness that I'm allowed to be with myself again, that I have prevented because things were so tough at one point. And this is where, you know, that's not only my connection back to myself, but that's my connection to my loved ones. And I notice when I'm healing from that, that also, it shows with my loved ones. There's a tenderness there that's coming with that I've missed. Sorry for crying, but I'm excited because I cry now. Did anyone ever, does that make sense? Like that would, you can just freeze your emotions, right? I tell guys, I tell my boys especially, I tell guys, if you're a human being, God gave you tear ducts, not just to women, but like that's literally like a stress relief that we're supposed to use. And it's such a sad thing in this world that we've taught our boys that that's taboo when it's human. And it's a stress relief, right? Like you cry, you're like, I feel better, right? Like, okay.
When you talk about fighter though, it's not just being angry. I think it's just that you just keep on going. You keep just taking on and taking on, and it's the opposite of fleeing a situation. You just keep taking on more and keep on going.
Well, and I think the bummer thing is that that's in every one of these. So if you think about the fawner as well, they are just going to keep people pleasing.
Well, stress is not just fainting. That's how you dealt with it. But I was bedridden. I'm pretty much out of work for 2 weeks sometimes. I just couldn't function. My body just
Shut down. Yeah.
And I had other physical symptoms.
Yeah.
I just wasn't. Now I've learned to listen when I start to get that certain feeling within me. Okay.
Yes, my body's telling me
Being
something.
tuned in
Yes.
instead of keep on going.
Yes. Yes.
And I was younger, like you because you're raising kids, you're working, and and you just keep going because you have to, right?
Yeah. Well, and think about the story of the woman. She's actually in my trauma class, like the woman that we were just reflecting on caretaking and caretaker fatigue, right? And she's like, oh, okay, now looking back, I had to take care of my mom that was in hospice, and like, who takes a break for themselves? That just was awful. Like, and you have to work. Like, there's no break. The truth is, there can be a break.
You have to be intentional and make it happen.
Yeah. And then how sad, like she has a stroke during the wake and misses her mom's funeral, is in a hospital for 3 days, right? Like that's what this does, right? Like, I mean, that's hard to tell someone in hospital, like, hard to be in that position of someone caretaking for someone else that they love and being like, no, I gotta give more, right? Like, I've gotta give more. Like, there are scenarios like that. But when we don't take those breaks and when we don't listen to our body, like, there's a point where we just break. And I'm gonna show you guys things we can do.
So what are the signs that you should be seeing anybody when they're, because when you said fight, flight, I could say, yeah, I progressed through all that stuff.
Yeah, yep.
But still, clearly I didn't see
Yes, because
the
we're not,
signs
we are not,
to stop myself from doing it.
we're not we haven't been taught to tune into our body. We're literally taught at a young age, like, suck it up, work harder, push through. Like, you've been programmed to not do this.
So you said you had a freeze, but then your kids brought you back. I had a freeze once for 8 hours.
Oh.
I mean, literally
She still has no memory of those 8 hours.
gone in the hospital, but no memory.
It's situational amnesia, what was it called, universal?
Global transient amnesia is what they determined.
And you just found yourself awake in a hospital?
Yeah.
Like when you
Looking
came
at
to?
my CAT scan without my brain.
Wow.
So, how do you recognize it
Yeah, great question.
before it gets?
Yeah. First of all, compassion, because you were never taught to see those signs or notice them. You were literally taught to ignore them. So self-compassion is really huge. When I was first learning this, and when I work with people, I tell them 3 times a day to do. Oh, okay, thank you. When I work with people, so I tell them 3 times a day. And here, do this. Go do this on your own. Or I'm here as a resource if you want the accountability to actually do it. Like that, I'm like the personal trainer of like the nervous system. Like, but here's what I'll tell you. I'll give you all the keys. Here's what I tell people. 3 times a day, we're going to look at doing a body scan. So morning, noon, and night, and we're going to attach it to a habit that you have that's already built in. Whether that be brushing your teeth, going out to feed the chickens, and we kind of work to get like, where will this fit to the point that like you can remember it and start doing this. Not hard things to do. Literally, it's a body scan. So it takes 30 seconds to just, okay, from head to toe, what do I notice in my body? Are my muscles tense? Like in literal, so we'll do a body scan right now, okay? So I want you to notice, just start in your head, like what do you feel? Do you have a headache? Are your facial muscles tense? How is your neck? Is your neck tense? Go down to your shoulders. Have they been like up to your ears for the last 3 hours and you're starting on that like back neck headache? If they're tense, go ahead and do like a shoulder roll back, down the arms. Are they tense? Torso, does anything hurt? Is anything tense? Your hips, your thighs, your calves, your feet. That's it. So what do you notice? Are you noticing anything? Anything tight?
I noticed just doing that made me relax things.
Yeah. And then the next step that I put in is, let's come back to calm. Even if we're kind of calm, like in the beginning of this, right? Like I wasn't calm. You guys were more calm. But even doing the box breath brought you into like a calm, right? That's like, I could stay here for a lot longer, right? So I have them do an exercise right after that, and then go on with their day. And then noon, body scan, box breath, just noticing.
When so I keeled over a few times too,
What do you mean keeled over?
fainted,
Okay.
flopped, and my doctor said to do something like this for the vagus nerve on both sides. But I don't always remember to do that.
Yep. And that's why working with someone, you don't have to work with me, but that's why it's like that accountability piece where you actually start to learn.
Like when you are already tense.
Yeah, so basically at first it's learning 3 times a day, like we plan it in. It's kind of like school, right? Like I'm learning this new thing, and I give three exercises that you can do, because you said that you forget this one. Well, and there's different ones for different things. Okay, so 3 exercises a day for that week. So really simple regimen. Like if you find another habit that you do that you can build that on, like anyone can do this. The thing is, it's really weird. I don't even do this sometimes. I forget, right? So the taking care of yourself piece is like, sometimes I work out, sometimes I don't, right? Yeah.
Yes. It's like,
But I'm getting better at noticing. Oh, I'm quicker to notice something feels off. I'm quicker to notice, oh, I miss that feeling of like the calm one, and I want to go back to that. The other thing that when you're working with someone regularly, like what you start to build is, so initially it's like the student is learning like all these new skills, new tools, but then I want it to get to the point where it's actually something that is intuitive to you. So you're not doing these like 3 times a day. You're noticing like, oh, I'm about to yell at my spouse. This is a don't push through moment. This is a pause moment. This is a remove myself. Oh, yep, I'm feeling all these tense things in my body. Okay, I need to take the break. I'm gonna go to the restroom. I'm gonna walk outside. I'm gonna do the breaths. So this is where it gets exciting because there is a place where it turns to like intuitive. So I don't do like, I was saying I don't do this all the time. I don't do the school thing all the time, right? But in my nervous system, like I know the tools to go to for if I'm frozen with my kids and and I'm noticing those times a lot more. Does that make sense? So it's the idea is to bring it into like something that's living and intuitive in you, and these are like literally life skills. Not just for now, but probably everyone's gonna have a trauma in their life. And so these skills are amazing for that. Like they literally are lifesaver skills. In 2020, I was pregnant with my 3rd child, and I started to have pre-suicidal thoughts. And I called my OB. I didn't sleep for 3 days. I couldn't eat. Like I tried to eat a banana, and my body was just like rejecting, and I was like, oh no. But I was fritzing everywhere, right? Because I had the part where I was like, I want to eat a banana. Oh no, I can't feed myself, and I want to stay healthy. And also, this is really scary. I'm starting with like these pre-suicidal thoughts that I don't want. Again, one of the things that shrinks your window of tolerance is not sleeping, right? Stress, right? So I was like a cocktail ready for something. I called my OB, they got me a counselor, and this is the first time I've gone to talk therapy for 20 years. This is the first time anyone had ever taught me this, but she taught me a grounding skill. I'm going to teach you guys today, but it's called 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I had to stay sane, I had to pace back and forth in my home literally all night long. I couldn't go to sleep because I was having like terror nightmares. I was in such a bad place. 2020, like my parents aren't coming over, like it was awful. My spouse didn't know what to do with me, so I had to pace back and forth in my living room the entire evening doing this grounding skill. And what the grounding skill does is it keeps you out of like the racing thoughts, and it brings you back to present. So if you ever go through a crisis, these skills are amazing to know what to do. What's going on in your nervous system, and you know how to come back, how to stay grounded. And to have that, like just to whip it out of your pocket, your invisible pocket, is like your inside, like intuitive is pretty cool. Not just for you, but for your kids, right? Like I've had a friend that was like, oh, I used that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 with my kid that was he started going into a panic attack, and we did the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and he came out of it, right? Like that's pretty freaking cool. Yeah, okay. So these are the different, I'll keep going. Signs of,
I didn't hear accidental wanna say thank you so much because I've heard fight or flight growing up. I heard fight, fight, flight or freeze. I've never heard fawn, and that's like blew my mind, cause I'm basically calling Bambi. So, I never thought of that as like a trauma thing, so I wanna say thank you so much. And I'm
Yeah.
not leaving, cause I just have to go pick up a kid.
Yes.
But
Oh, I love that you
it's
came.
really good to see you.
I wanna-
I just saw my friend in the parking lot and I was like,
I love it. I want to add that fawn can be really dangerous in an environment where they're not in power and they're in a place where there's either some toxicity in the environment. Yeah,
oh yeah.
yeah. They don't do well in those environments because they continue to please, because that's their survival thing and they don't realize that they're doing that, and for some reason they think that if I just keep doing this it'll get better. Because they learned that in another environment when they were a kid or another place, like that works really well for them. But toxic people are a danger too. Okay, so signs of hyperarousal in your body, that fight flight. We talked about those tense feelings, right? Like you start to feel, the tenseness here. It can be 3 hours before you get that back neck headache, right? So like the body scan cuts that off because all of a sudden you're like, oh, they're up here. They're not supposed to. Roll them back, right? But when we're really focused on work or what's ahead of us, like we literally get in that. Can you guys identify anything in your body that's fight or flight that you felt before?
No, it's just like clenching your jaw.
Yes. That like heart racing. I even feel it a little bit right now. I guess I'm like on because I'm like presenting in front of you guys. I feel calm, but there's an element of a little fighting, does that make sense? So it's really a gift when you can start to recognize it. I mean, I'm even shaking a little bit. Right? So like these things are in you all the time. And to be able to start to notice them is a really big gift. Like even right now, like I could be like, okay, I can do like a breathing thing, right? Like while I'm even presenting to you, I can like take a couple extra breaths, right? Like there's so many hidden ways that you can like do this really well and take so much better care of yourself and your body. Even in moments that a heated conversation with a colleague or a kid, right, where it's like you're at that like point where you can handle it, but you know that it's starting to get there, right? Like, because sometimes there's a point to push, right? Like through if you're at an okay level, and sometimes it's time to take a step back. My husband and I are getting much, much better at, I don't think this conversation is going anywhere positive, let's take a break. I didn't know those words for like a long time. It's really helpful. We don't seem like we're on the same team right now. I need a break. We'll come back to this. Signs of hypoarousal. For me, I'm like sitting on my couch for like several hours, watching lots of shows. Not that that's bad. I just notice if I'm like a bird's eye aerial view of my life, wow, I'm really on the couch a lot, and I have been pretty depressed for a lot of seasons, right? And again, not to judge, right? Because what judging does is it freezes, your mind stops there. We want to invite curiosity, like, oh, that's so fascinating, like about like how I work and like what my body's doing, like what is, I wonder why. Because when we're curious, we can start to uncover the rocks that have like more answers for us. But we need to be gentle when we go there in curiosity. Can anyone else describe something? Shame is here in hypoarousal. Isolated, oh yeah, that's accurate. Shut down, just less physical movement, zoning out, lack of emotions, I mentioned that freeze where I didn't cry for 20 years.
Avoidance, procrastination,
Yeah,
all those things. you
yeah. And when I started to figure some of this stuff out and learn it, it was a little bit freeing when I took the approach of like, don't judge, be curious, right? Because like, oh, okay, like, maybe I'm not a moral failure. Maybe I am like this human being that has a nervous system and it's working. And sometimes it's working for me and sometimes it's working against me. So coping skills, taking a break, self-care, noticing, right? Like noticing in that body, like, or I'm starting to yell. I mean, they're a little easier to notice because they're loud. Not for the person, right? Because the person's in it, that's what they're used to. But freeze has been hard for me because I'm like, I don't know, it's not demonstrative. It's like a quieter, it's like a silent energy. Okay, so we pause and we just notice that in our body. The fight, the flight. I noticed the other day, again with my husband, but I had to come back to a conversation with him, and I noticed I didn't want to. So I went shopping. And as I was looking through the stuff, I was like, oh, I'm avoiding. I'm avoiding right now. This is much more fun than having to deal with this uncomfortable conversation that I don't want to have anyhow. It's fine to shop, but it's really interesting when you start to notice what's driving you. So pause, just notice, do a body scan like we talked about. Because I introduced to you like that student approach, right? Like 3 times a day, you're going to learn this. This is going to be 3 new ones a week because you're going to try one on, you're not going to like some. Other ones are going to be like, I love this, I will adopt this one forever. Other ones are going to be like, this is so awkward, I hate it. But the body scan is also, which is what we hope for in the like intuitive transition process, is that we're starting to notice in our body first. So it's no longer a teacher has to tell us what we feel, we have to check in with ourselves. It's, oh, I'm noticing. Oh, I'm starting to yell. Oh, this is happening, right? Oh, I'm frozen and my kids are yelling back that I'm not responding. Oh, cool, okay, good information. Not I'm a moral failure. My nervous system is trying to teach me something. Because even when I was fainting at work, for some reason that registered as like weak moral failure. Like, or at least ignore that, work harder, right? So even like just starting to notice is like a huge win, especially in our culture. So notice where you feel the tension. Try and identify if it's that, what energy it is. Is it the fight, flight, lots of energy, or is it like the freeze, flop, fawn energy? So the hyperarousal, that's the fight, flight, and if you can identify that, there's exercises for that. So walking is great for either. For high energy, low energy walk, that is wonderful for you to come back down into calm. The box breath that we did in the beginning, did you feel that calm? That's coming back into calm, right? So when you have that, like, the nervous energy coming back into calm. So we're going to do, the yawn sigh. I do love that one. Okay. So this, putting your hand over your heart, this is actually a somatic calming. Do you feel that? I find this fascinating. Because when I was younger and I would pray, I'd put my hand over my heart and I'd feel really safe. And maybe it doesn't register for you, but for me it's like when I found out it was a somatic thing, I was like, that's cool. My body is already like doing that. And there's also a rocking one, right? This is a somatic exercise. I I notice I do that in conversations sometimes. So it gets, I get a little nerdy about it. It gets fun because your body literally already knows some of the things and already does some of the things, which I think is fascinating. And when you notice the ones that your body's already doing, you can start to pick up on them and like double down on trying to bring them out and do them more. Because your body obviously already likes it. This the yawn side is one big breath in. We're gonna do it together. We'll do two, okay? It's this one big breath in and then kind of like this yawn sigh sound out. I try to give you guys like the most normal-ish looking ones so you can do them at any time and you look normal. So it's inhale. So I do this I tell people to do this in the morning, like a big yawn. Ready? Inhale. Do you feel that? And haven't you done that before? Right? I feel like half of these I feel like I did these much more as a child. Kids are so smart.
Or if you do yoga.
Yes, yoga is wonderful for you for this, yeah. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So it's 5 things and I apologize, we're running a little bit over. We'll probably be 5 more minutes. If you guys need to go, I totally understand. So 5 things you see. So I'm gonna have you guys each do this because it's literally something you have to say verbally out loud. This is the one that saved me when I was having an awful time in 2020 and kept me grounded. So if you're ever in a trauma, there's a car accident, like you just feel all that awful energy, like this is a skill that you can use, like, so 5 things that you can see. So literally I would pace and I'd be like, I see a red book. I see some type of bird on the TV. I think they're eagles. I see a giant clock. I see a computer. I see my feet swinging. Does that make sense? When your thoughts start to take off, they kind of start to take you off the ground, right? So like, this is literally bringing you back. And because you're verbally saying it out loud, it's forcing you to be present in the moment. And it's using all of your senses because your senses, grounding into your senses, are what make you feel present. 4 things I feel. So I feel the wood table beneath me. I feel my feet moving. I feel the weight of my earrings dangling. I feel my hair pulling a little bit in back when I bob my head. Do you see how like you have to be in it to feel the thing? So I'm gonna let you guys go and do like, so 5 things you see, you just go like popcorn. Cause I'm forcing you guys to do this because I want you to learn it. I don't want you to just go away and I've said some things, and I want you to start to take a part of it home. So one thing you see. So it's literally like I see, what? I see an exit sign. Okay, that's 1. Somebody else.
I see the blue numbers.
Love it. Somebody else.
I see the blue over there.
Love it.
I see a chair.
Love it. What else? You gotta say I see.
What?
You gotta say I see. No, you're absolutely fine. I'm just telling you because I don't know why. There's something that it's also slowing you down, right? So if you just say typewriter, birds, that fast energy is still there, right? So it's the slowing down and like, yeah, yeah, being in the moment, yeah. So something you feel.
My lips.
Love it. What about you? What about you?
The scratchy fabric of this chair.
Perfect. Textures and things like that, like because you're feeling it, that you are present in the moment, that makes you grounded. 3 things you guys hear.
Your voice. I hear your voice.
Good. Love it.
The voices over here at the front desk.
Good. What else?
Leaving the truck outside.
Great. 2 things. These ones feel a little harder, guys. 2 things you can smell.
I smell books.
So I was like, I smell nothing. I feel it too. But you could, even if you can't, and then it's one thing I can taste, right? So hopefully you just ate something or you're having candy or something. But let's say you're getting stuck on those. It's the meaning of this whole exercise is just grounding. So if you're getting it by like the things you see and the things you feel, you can keep repeating those. If you're ever in an awful situation like I was. Okay, exercises for hypoarousal. Remember, this is like that sluggish, freeze, low energy. So, cold shower. That's fun. What does that do to your energy, right?
Wakes you up.
It really wakes you up. So I'm not brave enough to do the full cold shower, but at the end sometimes I get like really brave and I'm like, tiny bit of cold. Oh. But you feel it, right? Like cold water on your face, right? So I'm sitting on my couch for the 3rd hour and don't feel like getting up. This is a cue that I'm not moving and I need to get up. So I'm gonna go to the bathroom, I'm gonna splash some water on my face. Does that make sense? Okay, Taylor Swift here. Literally shake it off. Stand up and literally shake it off. Walking again. Walking is good for both. A little cup of coffee here. So anything that you can ground your senses into, so holding that mug that's hot, right? Like you feel the warmth of that mug. Tasting your coffee. How many times have you not tasted your tea or coffee? So again, being in that moment. If you're gonna have tea, taste it. Like make yourself, otherwise life's just real fast and not fun, you know? Like, and you'll be surprised when you start to practice these things, you know? Maybe you have tea every morning, but you don't notice or taste it, right? Like, you'll be surprised, like that little like clink on the side, like feeling the warmth, like just being there even for a second, how much that builds like just a nicer life, like but that present feeling. The first time I started doing these for 2 weeks, I was like the exercise junkie for these, like as often as I could, and I was like, oh my gosh, I never knew that I could feel this good in my body. It literally feels like a spa. Like, no need to go to Del Monte. I am happy right here. And I would just do as many as I could, and I never knew that I could feel that good in my body. Yeah, remember when we did that exercise, you guys wanted to stay there, right? Right? So you have this available to you all the time. And you have so many moments throughout your day, throughout your week, that could really use you caring about yourself, seeing yourself, noticing yourself, giving yourself that time or that moment. Okay, so don't be surprised the next time you find yourself in survival mode, because now you know what to do. Notice, don't. Yes, even if you're yelling at your child, notice, don't judge, because when we judge, it shuts us down, and it shuts down the change we're trying to make. We go in a different direction than growth. We go spiraling into shame and other things. So if you can notice, and notice not that we're not going in the direction of I'm a moral failure. We're going in the direction of, oh, my nervous system's trying to tell me something. Interesting. I must be upset. I wonder when this started, right? That's how we can start to get curious. I need a break. Even though I've just yelled 5 minutes through, or even though, guys, a win would be I just yelled at my child, and at the end of it, I realized, oh, that was a survival mode. That is a win. Because it's those wins where we can start to peel back and learn, okay, next time, maybe I will start to notice earlier. Because I'm just gonna be curious about that and go repair and do, like, does that make sense? So relax, refresh, and recharge. So now you know what to do in that scenario. Take care of yourself. Does that make sense? Yeah. Any questions? Well, thank you for coming, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for letting me share. I know I gave you guys a lot to think about.